Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
So, John, I've got a YouTube channel, and what we try to do is help people build wealth, especially young people who go, I don't want to wait till I'm 65 to enjoy my life. I get it. But we also know if you don't think about the future, plan for it, invest for it, then you'll never have money, and you'll retire broke, which is not okay in America today, because it's really easy to retire a millionaire, and yet most people don't.
Is it easy, George?
Well, here's the thing. The math of it is easy.
Okay, there you go.
The dollar amount you need to invest
How do I
is
lose
easy.
weight? Diet and exercise. Like, it's easy, but it's hard.
And as you know,
And it's
as
every
you get
single
older,
day.
it's harder to make progress.
There you go, yeah.
When
it's
you're
harder to change
24,
habits.
we all had abs at 24,
Yes.
right?
I mean, I've always had a thing for gummy candies. Just saying.
Okay, that's fair. But I thought it would be fun, and I've done this on my channel, is use our investment calculator to show you exactly how much you would need to invest based on your age in order to have a $1 million nest egg. Because here's the stat. Only 3% of U.S. adults have $1 million saved for retirement. Nearly half of Americans have under 10 grand saved, and 26% have nothing in any retirement account. And some of that's due to, living paycheck to paycheck. Some of it's financial literacy. But if you're listening to this show, listening to this segment, you now have no excuse. You know too much to retire broke.
All right, bring it on.
Hey, George here with a quick interruption. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, would your family know where to find your life insurance policy, your will, even your Netflix password? Well, Knockbox solves that. It's a kit that organizes your financial accounts, estate plans, and everything your family would need all in one place. That way they don't have to hack into your laptop or locate some long-lost thumb drive. So leave them a legacy, not a scavenger hunt with Knockbox. Ramsey fans get the best discount available at knockbox.com/Ramsey. That's knockbox.com/Ramsey.
All right, bring it on.
Here we go. So we're going to start
Save the day, GK.
Let's start with that 24-year-old with
That was
abs.
pretty good, right?
A young Dr. John, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to take on the world. And this is also assuming you're following the Ramsey plan, which means we're not going to take on crippling debt and car payments and student loans and credit card debt. But let's say you're ready to invest. We recommend 15% into retirement, and we're going to even go lower than that. We're going to go $150 a month from age 24 to age 62. Let's see what happens. I've got it pulled up. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see in real time we use this investment calculator on our website, which is free. We'll link it in the description. So you have nothing saved. We're starting from zero, and we're going to invest $150 a month, and we're going to assume an 11% rate of return. Now, John, people are they're angry. They're already typing comments on YouTube going, where's this guy getting 11% on his investments? This is just historical data from the S&P 500. So if you look at the U.S. stock market over the last 50, 70 years, you're going to see an average rate of return of 11%. So we're going to use that as our number. And what do we find, John? $1 million. And guess what? 68,000 of that was John's contributions. 964,000 was growth. That is the power of starting early. And you'll see what I mean as we move on to our next example. Let's say you're 35. You have nothing saved. You got a hold of this plan a little bit later on in life. And let's also say you work a little bit later, 65, nothing saved in retirement. You would need to invest $375 a month, which again is not even close to the 15% parameter we recommend, way lower. But even then, at 11%, you'll see you have just over $1 million. But at this point, the growth was 916,000. Your contributions were 135,000.
Is that real?
That's real math. And here's the thing. I love when math can be encouraging.
So if 24-year-old me put $150 away every month,
that's it, $150. That's like DoorDash money. That's like all of your subscriptions combined for a month money. It's really not that much. The problem is human behavior. We don't have the consistency, the discipline to just put away that money and not go spend it elsewhere. And we go, well, that's a problem for future John to deal with. 35-year-old John, when he's an adult and he's got like a family and stuff, he'll figure it out. Except we know that that's not how life works.
I want to go back and just give a whooping to 24-year-old me.
I know. I feel the same way. So don't get discouraged. Let's move on to 45. Or you know what? Let's actually do 15%. Let's look at that 35-year-old who actually invests 15%. Average household income is $80,000 in America. 15% of that is $1,000 a month. All right? So let's look at what happens when you invest $1,000 a month instead of $375. $2.8 million. So for those of you going, Gina, well, John, $1 million isn't going to be anything when okay, how about 2.8 million? Can we concede that's a lot of money no matter where you came from? Good. And that's if you never get a raise. 35 to 65, 2.8 million if you invest $1,000 a month. Let's move on to the 45-year-olds. A lot of people listening who went, man, I wish I could go back to when I was 35 and do this stuff. Let's say you're 45, you have not a dime saved in retirement. Now, the truth is the math is going to differ here. You need to invest more to still achieve $1 million. So we're going to pipe it up to $1,200 a month from 45 to 65, which again is still about a six-figure household income, investing 15%. And you can see you can still retire a millionaire at 65 years old with $1 million in that account, even if you start from nothing at 45 years old.
I know, George, but here's the big thing you're leaving out. My feelings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's hear it. How do you feel about
this? Just feels math? Unfair. I don't know. I was trying to say something.
And now here's the other thing, John. People go, well, must be nice. Who's got $1,200 to invest? And I go, hey, how much is your student loan? Well, that's $400 a month. Hey, what's your car payment? Well, that's $600 a month. Hey, what are your credit card minimums? Well, that's $200 a month. I think I found $1,200.
Yeah.
If we got out of that debt, that's how much money would free up to then invest. Therein lies the power and simplicity of the Ramsey plan. When you don't owe people money, you have money left over. When you have money left over and you're willing to make sacrifices for future you will invest said money. So that's the big secret, is live on less than you make, don't owe other people money, invest the surplus, and you will be unbelievably wealthy.
And that means in the short term, not to minimize it, you've got to be very intentional about driving the car you need to survive, about not going out and figuring out ways to have people over, to go out to the park. Is any of that cool? No, it's awful. And in these days, postponing buying a house for maybe 10 years longer than it took me to buy my first house, right? Like, that's the reality. Those are expensive. But it is changing the way TV and Instagram says you should be living, and saying, okay, based on this set of realities, we're going to live this way. And so we're going to figure out how to have a great, wonderful life in this little reality that we live in. And my promise is, if you can choose to live in that, you can choose to find joy and laughter. And it is what it is, man.
Well, what's crazy is to be truly wealthy, it has to be invisible to others. Nobody can see the balance of my 401k, but they can see what's in my driveway. That's the problem, is we get way too excited about the thing going down in value in our driveway instead of the invisible number happening in an account somewhere in a 401k, because it doesn't feel real and it doesn't affect our life right now.
But the idea is we're still using either one of those proxies as some sort of value statement on what we're worth, instead of doing the harder work on our spiritual lives, our relational lives, our emotional and mental health, to say, no, I've got value just because, and I'm going to go do the next right thing for me and my family, where we want to be when we're 65 years old. And I don't want to be like this other family. I don't want to have cut off my kids due to value differences and then have to go beg them to build us a wing in their new house, right? Like, so we have to reverse engineer where we want to be at 65 and just choose that reality.
Yeah. Do you want to be a financial burden to your family, or do you want to leave an inheritance to your children's children?
Right.
You get to choose.
But that choice, as far as that calculator goes, that choice begins at 24. That choice begins at 35.
Yeah, building wealth in 2035 starts in 2025.
Yeah. I think that's an important
That's
thing.
the hard part to grapple with, because we live for today. Everything is just this ephemeral quick hit that we need as we scroll social media. And the calculators, only so many people get excited about a calculator. I love a good calculation. I love a good spreadsheet.
One time you and I were at a punk rock show, and you're like, pulled out one of your earplugs, and you're like, hey, hold on, check this out. And you're like doing facts and figures in the mosh pit. It was pretty cool.
True. I stay away from the mosh pit as a guy who's short. Most people's elbows are right where my face is. So it's not ideal. Not ideal. But I hope that encourages you. And listen, if you're 50, you're 55, even if you're 60, yes, it's going to be harder. But you have catch-up contributions. Hopefully you're making more than you ever have made in your entire life. So there's still time to retire with dignity. And I can even show you, John, from 50 to age, let's say 67. You're going to have to work a little bit longer. You start with nothing. You invest $1,000 a month. You can still have $600,000 if you start at 50 with $0. So let that be an encouragement to you. You don't need to have a $20 million net worth, but there's also no reason to retire broke and hope that social insecurity covers the bills. Because if you've listened to the show long enough, you know it doesn't. I don't want you to be that person. You can do better.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.